Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. For those of you who do not know who I am, and today we've got the one, the only Mr. Mkatiso himself.
I don't know what time it is.
Welcome back, you guys. For those of you who have not subscribed to our channel,
do the right thing.
Road to 100,000 subscribers. Yeah.
Yes. But why don't you take it step by step? Road to 70,000 and then 75 and then 80.
We don't do that on YouTube. We just go 50k, 100k, 150k, 200k, you know.
Lose the camera.
It's a flyer.
Because they're able. Like, it's just bad. Fly.
So guys, in today's video we are talking about finances in our marriage. What we have learned, our journey of our finances, where we come from, where we've been and where we are going.
The goals.
And our goals, yeah.
The goals. I think I think we did have like a conversation around how we structure, the financial element of our relationship in our marriage. It's based on transparency and shared responsibility. I think we both, well, I don't know how much my wife earns, but
hi. I don't understand.
Do I know how much you earn?
That statement means. You don't know how much I earn.
How much do you earn?
The same amount I was earning where I was working before I became a full-time influencer.
How can you earn the same amount now that you're an influencer?
Because
you don't have
I pay myself that salary.
Yeah, but
I live according to the same means.
No, I'm not talking about how much you live. I'm talking about like how much you earn. Forget the salary. Wow. A person can have a salary and bonuses, whatever. But
Mali is not a man.
I'm the one who's transparent in this relationship from a financial point of view. The last time my wife was transparent was when she worked. I knew how much she earned. Now money is coming in left. I don't know. I don't know. Because now she's like a full-time service provider. She's providing, content creation, digital marketing services to various clients. So she's got multiple streams of income. She doesn't have one source, so it's difficult so I need to check up bank statements going forward every month end, just to see if we're still on the same page. I think I'm covering most of the expenses in the household, and this person is earning way more than me.
That will
I'm
never happen.
We're talking about this
Wow.
this conversation, so that I haven't been paying attention to how much money you're making nowadays. The man who says is doing okay. But this
isn't this pakile. And
all I'm saying is like I think we need to disclose, because I'm transparent when it comes to money. I guess there's one thing about me, and that's
why you married me.
And
that's why
we were both broken. We
wow.
didn't have money to even spend.
Wow. But guys, we come from humble beginnings, like from literally.
I'm still in humble beginnings, and they haven't lied. Yeah, she comes from still there.
You lie.
But anyway.
But anyway, we come from humble beginnings. Like, I literally used to live on a 5,000 rand salary, had to pay for rent, had to sustain myself. It was hard. Like, we come from really like humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And like we've transgressed and progressed obviously over the couple of years that we have been together. We had kids. We lived in town in a 2-bedroom apartment. Then our family was expanding.
We used to live in rooms before.
Hey, so sell us gamerin, guys.
We were renting rooms.
Guys, remember you had to, when I was share and share.
Yeah.
And then we moved from you sharing with someone else
To sharing with other people together.
Oh, nice.
Skipping that stage. We used to rent a room together in
an
a two-bedroom
apartment.
apartment with other people.
With other people.
And then when we were so pregnant and not before, then of course, obviously now we're going to have a child.
Yeah.
So we're like, and remember, throughout all that process, our salaries didn't increase
At all.
from like renting a room to renting a room together to moving in together. I think our salary improved.
Yeah. So at that time we were obviously staying in town, and then at some point Uzola had to sell his car because he needed to pay for damages.
Yeah.
And we only had like one installment of a car to pay for, so we decided to keep my car and move into a bigger place because we were having a child, which is a 2-bedroom apartment, and we stayed in town. Then we fell pregnant again a few months, like 6 months later, after I had like given birth to Uko. And then we moved to another place without even knowing that we were pregnant.
Yeah.
So we bought another place because we're like, oh,
which is where we are now. Why are you
Which is where
saying
we
we
are
bought another place? We bought this place.
Yeah, we bought this place, yes. And then we moved
Discovered
and we discovered we were pregnant just before moving into this place.
Already signed and everything.
Everything. So it's really been such a journey, and people just look at our lives and think that we just woke up, sabalapa. Guys, we've had to work and sacrifice so much. I remember when I was pregnant and Uzola left the firm he was working for, saying that he's gotten an opportunity to start his law firm with his now business partner, and I was 7 months pregnant with Uinkos. I was so scared.
And I had no money.
Guys, ndandibheya ipinatsi. I got retrenched from my then job after I had gotten back from maternity leave. I was unemployed for 2 months straight, going in and out of interviews. I had just given birth to Uko.
Yeah.
And for some time I really didn't know where I was gonna work.
Yeah.
So it's been such a journey. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
But I feel like God has really just blessed us so immensely in trusting Him and the process, and obviously just working hard and being determined to make our circumstances better.
Yeah. And I think for us, one thing that like has really helped us, both of us, I think when it comes to finances, we're privileged enough to singatithandi izinto that we can't afford.
Yeah.
Like, we do like nice things, but we don't, we both of us have that personality. It's frugal when it comes to spending money. We don't like spending money unnecessarily on things that we cannot afford.
Yeah.
So that has helped us a lot, because it's easy to force things, and just because your salary allows you, this is a very important thing to know. That sometimes what your salary gives you access to is not necessarily things that you can afford. So sometimes you can be earning 20,000 bucks. If you're earning 20,000 bucks, you have to pay for a place to rent. You have to pay for, you have kids. Even if your 20,000 rent gives you access to qualify, but that does not necessarily mean that you can afford, because after you've paid everything, including, for example, a car, if you qualify for it, you may be left with 1,000 bucks or 2,000 rents disposable income, which means that you don't afford that.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were fortunate enough to be cognizant of that. So we purposefully lived a life below our means. So I think the key thing is, don't allow your salary to lure you into buying things that it gives you access to, but that you can't really afford. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of us, when we get our first salary paycheck, first job, the first thing that we do, we buy the car that we've always wanted to buy. We move in the area we've always wanted to move in, and we buy clothes and open accounts and all of that. So if you can avoid that trap at a young age, then it's going to do you very well in the long run. So I think that's the first thing. I think that's the first thing that we sort of got right. Because now when I haven't bought, like, since I've been working now for a couple of years, almost 10 years, I haven't bought myself like a brand new top of the range car. It's never been my thing. I've always bought like second-hand cars that I can finish off in like a year or two. So my first car I finished in the first year because it was a second-hand car, you know. So I didn't put myself into the pressure and the trap of buying a car that my salary qualified me for.
I think from my side, I would say I made a few mistakes when I started working.
Yeah.
But not when I was alone. I think when I got into a relationship with you.
Wow. Okay. Deep look.
No.
Deep look. Bad influence.
No. Yeah, but like it was. I opened
mistakes
up
did you?
accounts.
For what?
Clothing accounts. So
You're trying to look good for me.
wow. Actually, I didn't even open a clothing. I did, you guys. I opened an archive sports scene account because I loved sneakers, and at the time I could not afford to buy the sneakers that
So you
he liked. So I opened that account for him
romantic
to
ladies.
buy him like the sneakers because he has tiny sneakers, and then I also fell into the trap of liking sneakers, and that was a big mistake.
Now she has more
because
sneakers than heels.
I would wow, that is not true. But in any case, like I would definitely buy things and then I never pay on time because I think I'm such a careless person when it comes to paying people money that I owe.
That's true. Even for a nail.
Guys, it was so bad with that and then I would just
You're not disciplined.
forget.
You're paying debt when.
It's not that I didn't have the money to go pay it, like didly bal, and then it accumulated,
And maybe arrears and interest
and then it was just a headache. So don't fall into that trap.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend against doing that.
Accounts, I bet.
Also, accounts for like home stuff. Don't do it. It's a launch. You may think, oh, you've just moved into a new place and you want to make it look pretty. Quickly, let me open a Mr. Price home account. If you don't have money for it, do not do it. Rather save money until you can afford what you can. Or if uzayivula lo account, make sure you settle it very soon, like very, very, very quickly. And don't, because when you apply for credit, they'll give you that, oh, you apply for ilimit yakho mhlambi 15,000 rand per month. Uye nawe ke babes uyospend alo 15,000 uzotyala imali eninzi, like uzotyala imali eninzi. So that's the first thing that I would say I would highly recommend against. Accounts for household stuff like
furniture,
things, furniture, clothes, food. Don't do that. And then the second thing I would highly encourage, you're the one thing I spoke about what I would highly not recommend. The one thing I would highly recommend is have emergency savings. Have savings and have emergency savings. Because you never know what may happen, you know. Don't take your salary, uqombe, I'm going to spend all of it. Because you never know what may happen.
That's a tricky one.
Why?
That's a tricky one. Of which now for a very long time I didn't apply. Not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't. There's quite many situations where your salary literally affords you the bare minimum and you get left with nothing to save.
That's true.
So like for example, and like for example, now also save ustraglisha.
That's very true.
Do you understand? Like,
that's true.
You're not gonna sleep on the floor
empty stomach.
or like ulale phansi just because awufuna uthenga ibed because you need to save. Sometimes kuthethwa ngalento you must save, but the reality is sometimes when you start, like for example abantu basuka emakhaya ngamakhaya, sometimes when you like salary yakho yokuqala or for the first few years, you need to use it to better the situation at home before you get to a point where you can save. And that was I think I was in that boat for the first 5 years, basically. I couldn't save because yonke imali yami ndithatha ndiyifake emgalelweni enye through my mom. The only saving that I did is save. We like interest bearing account for 12 months. Then after the 12 months I take it. It's not an emergency fund. I was saving for a goal. For example, to buy a house or to buy furniture at home or I never had like an emergency fund or money that was saved up to accumulate for a long period of time.
When I say savings, it doesn't have to be such a huge figure.
Okay,
it
true.
literally can be
saving for a goal
times 12. Just when December get extra than usual salary.
Yeah.
So
no, I always did that one, but it's just like I spent it all in December. But also another thing that I want to speak to, like, besides just being careful about how you spend, like, but if you decide to open an account to buy something that you really need, please try and don't, if you have an option to pay up for 72 months, if you can pay it in 2 years or in 3 years or even a year, if you have extra money to put into that account, that will save you a lot of money. And take time to go through your statements and look at how much money you are wasting. The interest, the admin fees, the service, there are so many administrative fees that companies charge in addition to the interest that you pay when you open an account or you have a loan. And if you look at your statements and just read them, you will realize how much money you're wasting. So if you do have an option, if you pay more than what you're supposed to pay on your monthly installments, you actually save a lot of money on interest.
Yeah.
So that's something that I always did. When I bought a car, I made sure that I pay twice, the monthly installment so that I can finish it quicker. So every time I have extra money, I put it in there. Every time I have extra money, I put it in there. And I've always managed to pay for my cars quicker than normal. So that is a very, very important tip when it comes to managing finances.
So another thing that I would really say is super, super important. I think it's a mistake that we made in the beginning was making a decision too quickly to purchase a house.
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh, we're so excited. We came to the viewing and we loved the place. We fell in love, got the view of Table Mountain.
Yeah.
Very spacious. It was the biggest that we had view in the area. And we're like, this is the best. All set, we're moving in. Fast forward a few months down the line, we are expecting another family member. So I think because we get so excited to buy now because there's a lot of developments, there's new areas in Cape Town where they're building a lot, and they're building very beautiful places with modern finishes. It's very important to think long term when you are purchasing. There's nothing wrong with renting for as long as you're not sure how many children you're gonna have, when you're having your next child. I think it's very important for you to keep in mind where you're gonna buy, because it determines the kind of schools that your children will go to. And a lot of factors. So please don't get excited if you are a young couple like us and maybe you have one child. Don't rush into buying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Unless you're certain, maybe this is the only child you want to have. You don't have. But I think also it was a mistake in the sense that, in retrospect, right? At the time, we thought it was the right thing to do because we were trying to be financially savvy. Because we didn't want to rent.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't want to spend the money that we were spending on rent in town at the time. Yeah. So we thought, why not use the same amount that we're using for rent to pay a bond? So we were trying to be financially savvy, but at the time we had one child, thought 3-bedroom, we're going to be fine. But then boom, 2 months down the line, we realize,
Squawk.
you know, so we have another child, and also didn't foresee how quickly our kids are going to outgrow the place and need a bigger space to play and all those things. So if you're looking, I would advise to rent until you are absolutely sure, if you're a young family, that, you know, this is where the kids are going to go to school, this is the amount of kids that you want to have, etc. We didn't think about that at all. We just wanted a place that was going to be suitable for us at the time. And also now, when you're trying to sell the place and the economic activity impact on, you know, potential to resell. You know, if you've made improvements in your house, whatever, and if you sell at the wrong time, you may lose money.
That's true.
You know, so always bear in mind before you, because buying a property is quite a big, you know, financial commitment.
Very big. You can't buy.
Yeah, because remember, the problem with buying property is like when you buy, right, you pay for transfer costs, you pay for registration costs, right? And when you sell, so it costs a lot of money in addition to the price of the house. And then obviously you'll do improvements in the house, right? So if you move out too quickly, when you sell, you also have, remember, you have, as a seller, you have to pay commission if you're using an estate agent, so it affects also, you know, the price. And if from an interest point of view, you may still owe the bank a lot, and you might end up making a loss if you sell your house too quickly.
That's true.
So those are all the considerations that you need to make. At least you need to live in a place at least for more than 5 years, maybe, for you to be able to make some profit if you resell, or to even break even.
Yeah.
So that's something that we've learned the past 3 years. Or so. So, like, just the last point that I think it's also important to avoid getting into a trap ya matyala. So if when your financial affairs improve, you shouldn't be too quick to also align your lifestyle to the improvement of your financial affairs. I think the most important thing, if you really want to have financial, you know, freedom in the future, is to always make sure that if you earn a little bit more and you have debt, you settle the debt first. Because for as long as you're in debt, if you receive money and you're saving, right, if you have a debt of 5k and then you're saving another 5k at the end of the month, they cancel each other out. You're not really making money, because even though you're getting a little bit of interest on the money that you've invested, there's so much interest that you're paying on the debt that you owe. So if you first focus on paying all your debts, to make sure that every money that comes to you is money that is yours, and there's no other interest that you are paying somewhere else. So progressively, if you apply the principle, you'll be able to be in a financial better position than if you're trying to save whilst you owe. So I mean, if you have a debt of 200,000 and you have 20,000 rand in savings, you're not really saving. But if you use that 20,000 rand to cover your debt first, you're actually saving on the interest. So it's not an easy thing to do, because you don't see money in your bank account. You don't have money, you know, because you're taking all your money and paying your debt. But in the long term, the quicker you pay your debt, the more you will be able to have money that is yours, and then you can make a decision to improve your lifestyle, to align it with where you are financially.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. For as long as you're owing someone money, the money that you have does not belong to you.
Yeah.
If you're matyala and you have a salary and you pay a portion of your debt, the money you have remaining in your account
is yours.
To live is not yours.
Oh, you're saying you're
it's
right.
It's not yours. It belongs to someone else. For as long as there's a minus, it's accounting. For as long as you call minus, la mali imelbia pago koba minus to balance the equation. So, Baba, what do you have to say to a young person out there that is
starting off financially?
Yeah.
Now, like, resist the urge. We all have that urge. We all or I would like to live in an apartment alone, or, you know, but you know that if you do that, it's going to be a stretch too far financially. You have access to it, but you're just not going to have enough money left to do other important things like saving or doing something meaningful that you can actually be proud of 10 years from now, whatever, with your money. We all have that urge. It's not an easy urge to avoid, but I would urge everyone to try and avoid that, to try and get falling into the trap of using your money on things that you have access to but can't afford. So instead of buying your dream car within the first 5 years of working, buy a car that's a decent car, second-hand car, that's going to get you A to B, which you will be able to pay for in 2-3 years instead of 6 years or 7 years in certain cases with balloon payments. So if you can do that, start slowly. There's something beautiful about progressing slowly. When you look back on how much you've achieved, you'll be proud of yourself, as opposed to living your best life now and looking back 10 years and realizing you haven't achieved anything financially. So that would be my 2 cents worth in closing. Try to avoid things that your money gives you access to but you can't really afford.
Mine would be plan your finances.
What does that mean?
It means that you know how much you earn. You should plan. If you want a new place, see how much you can afford.
Budget, basically.
Yeah, plan your finances, budget it according to how much you earn, and don't put yourself under financial pressure.
Yeah.
If you also speak up for yourself if you're applying for a job, negotiate, be willing to negotiate for your salary and how much you're worth. I know a lot of people, young people, get exploited when they start working. So never be afraid to stand up for yourself. Obviously, you have to prove yourself and work hard. And yeah. Hey guys, we hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Let us know in the comment section what you think. And tell us about your experiences, what you guys have been through, what you've learned, and what has worked in your favor.
One more thing. What is your biggest financial goal for this year?
You shall see soon.
Okay. I can't wait.
Ngizawubona ngami mina cha.
Uyawoyika?
Andiyoyika, ndifuna ubavuribhaya. Ndibathemta mani.
Awufuna ubaqala behlelele?
Ndifuna ubakwekwa.
Okay, ayavakala.
Bye guys.